So remember in the last video when I said that turbos don't belong on big V6s? I was kind of half joking. The reason that they don't work so well on these cars is just because they don't have a lot of space under the hood for it, but a supercharger does. That doesn't mean that you can't do it, it just means that it's a lot of work to do it, whereas a supercharger is a kit, and it's something that I could do in my driveway if I really wanted to. But I got thinking, you know what happens when somebody who isn't me gets one of these cars? It doesn't matter how nice it is, and it happens especially if it's one of the coupes. I think specifically teenagers probably would do this, like if you bought it as a first car, maybe this is kind of what you would think, but they'd really try to ruin them in like every way possible, so that's what I'm going to try and do today. Let's make a teenager style Infiniti G35, because why not? Now this is just a clone of the car, so we can't change anything here. The suspension geometry and stuff is going to stay the same, but I do want to just make a new version of this engine real quick, because why not add an eBay turbo kit? Alright, so in stock form, this car makes 260 horsepower. It does make more torque than what I'm currently making now, but that's fine. This is how it's going to be set up. This kind of stuff they're not going to be able to change in the driveway. However, if we skip on through, this is where things get interesting, because we can get a twin turbo kit on eBay and immediately break the engine. How about that? So my thinking in terms of like what is defined as an eBay turbo kit basically is something that doesn't really work that well. It's not tuned properly generally, and it might increase our performance a little bit, but it's probably not going to be very much considering what went into it to make it happen. So I'm going to make them ball bearings, so they'll be a little bit higher quality. We'll go for a fuel economy preset, and okay, at least we are actually making power now. So fuel economy preset basically just makes the turbos really tiny, and our power curve is going to be way off now, so get ready for that. Okay, it actually is way off already anyways. Let's just say that they put better injectors on it, and they decided to crank up that fuel mixture all the way. That's 236. That's less power than we were making before. You know what? That is a lot more torque, but it's so far down, it doesn't make any sense. Hold on a minute now. I've got some work to do in tuning, don't I? Alright, so I'm making 300 horsepower, 450 newton meters of torque. Again, it's a torque mountain right in the middle there. Torque bulge, if you will. But yeah, I'm okay with that. Obviously, being a kid, they're going to cut all of this stuff off, so it's not going to have any mufflers, not going to have any cats, and then they're likely going to dual exhaust that thing, and probably increase this as much as humanly possible. Okay, it is now max size. I mean, we have full flow-through exhaust, so that's a good thing. Yeah, 300 horsepower, not bad actually. Obviously, our fuel economy went down. I put it up to super, but we could go for this and just go up a little bit as well. That's 305 horsepower. Let's just assume they're trying to keep the budget here. Let me take the intake though. You know what, actually, intake is fine. Okay, now very obviously I could make more power than this. The intercooler is small, the turbos are also quite small, but I think that's going to be fine. For the purposes of this build, 305 horsepower, that's a pretty decent jump for an eBay turbo kit, so I'm very interested in that torque bulge. It has gotten much worse. There's going to be some wheel spin, I can tell you that. Alright, with our exhaust cut off and our eBay turbo kit fastened, I think that's it for the engine bay. Now we have to get on to this styling. This is not taking very long. I guess they didn't really spend too much time on these mods or thinking about them, as I am not really either. Okay, that's not true. I've thought about this in advance, and you're about to find out how much I've thought about this, because we can take paint and we can make it completely matte, because obviously they rattle can the thing. Oh yeah, I know, it's gotta be plastic. This thing has to be plastadipped. The entire car plastadipped black. That's literally it. Trim, same thing. Get on that plastidip, please. I feel like I'm ruining my entire car now. And same thing here. Wheels plastidip blacked. Oh my goodness, it looks so bad, but it's so realistic. I've actually seen a car like this and it scared me, but here we are anyways. Okay, before I get too far, I want to go ahead and turn all this stuff black as well, because we can't have it be anything other than that. Alright, so everything has been blackened out, but obviously they debadged the thing, so say goodbye to that, say goodbye to the front plate, say goodbye to all of the lettering on the back, because I don't think that they would have kept that. So they probably would have taken this exhaust, made it into a cannon, and we'll make that quite a bit bigger, and then dualed it up there so that we have two of them. And obviously it has to be bloody massive as well. And you know what, a little bit of tilt on there too, just like that. I swear I've seen this exact car before, but here we are. Oh my goodness, it's horrible. Now something that's a total jerk move that I've seen a lot of people do is take their back taillights, whatever they happen to be, and just make them some kind of extremely dark color. We have a couple options for darker red, so I'm just going to go with that. It's not going to look great in Beam, but it'll be fine for this. So there you go, slightly blacked out backlights, and the same thing with the headlights, believe it or not. I honestly can't believe that some people are dumb enough to black out their headlights. It literally doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I'm going from one version of translucent to another, but it's basically the same. It just looks a little bit darker, so yeah, there you go right there. That's the darker version of this car. Now, if this was an Audi A4 like the body would tell you, then you could probably just leave it right here. I've actually seen a bunch of these cars where the rims stay stock, but they seem to just plasti dip the whole thing anyways. So yeah, actually, you know what? This would definitely not stay the same color, wouldn't it? It's going to be plasti dip too. Alright, my work on this portion of it has been done. I think it's time that I made the wheels way worse. Oh my goodness. Okay, I have to decide what kind of person this person is. Are they somebody who really likes like lowriders or something? Like massive wheels? Are they into donks? Are they a tuner of some kind? Did they just go to Walmart and buy the quickest hubcaps they could? Canadian tires, alloy rims? I don't know. I'm gonna say that this person went on Kijiji, which is Canadian Craigslist, and bought the biggest rims that they could that would fit on this car, which would probably come off of an Infiniti SUV. So they'd be like 20s probably. I guess we can test that out. Okay, I'm going with these, and I'm gonna quickly move over to the wheels. Thank goodness all this stuff is done so we can just experiment, but if we move up to 20s, that looks really big in there. Goodness, that's yeah, that's not my styling choice, although I did kind of just make that choice, didn't I? Alright, let's change it from sport to, you know what, sport makes sense. I was going to, oh, you know what, let's make the tires a little bit lower profile. Okay, never mind, they're just gonna break, aren't they? Let's actually make the car work. It needs to be driven to school and back, okay? That's the important part. I was thinking though, in terms of body pieces, obviously something that is incredibly important that I missed is a wing that doesn't actually do anything, so let's put one of those on real quick. Oh my goodness, RX-7 wing. Oh no. You know, I really don't like myself sometimes. Oh no. Okay, I actually have a lot of wings. I'm not going to choose that RX-7 one. I think that one's just a little too obvious. These ones could actually be passed off as like the stock wing that comes with the car, but I want to pick something that just looks so eBay, it's ridiculous. And I'm really unsure between this one here and one of these ones that has like some kind of sponsor on it, because the sponsors kind of just make it. Oh my goodness, that fake carbon fiber. Oh, this one is so tall. Okay, I think that might be just a little bit too tall for eBay. Just a little bit too much wing for you there. Oh wow, this one's even taller. Okay. Now this actually looks like a legit GT wing. That's, yeah, it would have to be a lot more like this, I think. Much smaller. Before I go too far, I definitely need some very offensive looking sponsors. So I'm gonna try and find some in my sticker library here. I've definitely got something. There's gotta be something in here. Okay, you know they have one of these on the back. Obviously there's one of these hiding out just over here on the window, most likely. Just a little bit hidden so people on the street don't see it and bash in your window. But yeah, there you go. And another one I think is pretty important to put on here. Oh man, is there a Monster Energy one? That would be perfect. Okay, best we can do is Red Bull, so I'll put a Red Bull sticker up here as well. Just kind of shrink those down. Oh man, okay, next one is definitely U-Loop, for obvious reasons. And looks like I have space for one more, so probably I don't know. I was gonna say Whack-Donald's, but let's go for this one right here. It just kind of looks like one of those stickers. Okay, I think that's it for styling. I could make this a massive front lip, but I think I'm okay with this what we've got going on right here. Not much to it. Apparently the eBay order was a little bit small this time around, but yeah, this thing is definitely going to compete with the stickered out Dangan that I made before. That one took me a long time to put the stickers on. Like, the sticker bombing alone took, I don't know, an hour? Just a little bit too much, so I'm trying to avoid that here. Light sticker bombing and a lot of darkness, and we're ready to go. Alright, into the drivetrain. It's staying rear wheel drive. It's staying automatic because, yeah, none of this is going to end up changing. The estimated top speed has gone up, but I'm not going to change it because I want to keep the wheel spin down. Everything else here is going to be the same. The car was tuned quite well before. Obviously, that's kind of ruined now that I've got things cranked up all over the place, including the power and the torque. Okay, let's say they increase the brake size in a stroke of genius just so they were able to stop. How about that? So that wing actually does do something, which is unfortunate because I was hoping to make the joke that it doesn't, but here we are anyways. Maybe I could just turn that down. Who needs wings anyways? Wings are just kind of useless. Alright, seats and stuff will stay the same. Let's say they amped it up to luxury because, I don't know, they put a banging stereo in there or something. That's about that. Everything else here would stay the same, and this is incredibly important, but I don't think the suspension itself would change. Maybe coilovers perhaps, but it's got to be as low as it can possibly be. Like, as low as possible is necessary with this. And what about a slight bit of camber on there too? Let's go for that race preset. Okay, race preset gives us a little bit of negative camber, but obviously it needs a touch more now, doesn't it? Negative, let's see, 3 in the back? It's not looking quite right. Yeah, I guess that's all we can get. Negative 5 in the front, negative 3 in the back. Or maybe I'll make that a little bit better. There we go, negative 3, negative 3. Okay, I think that's good. That's a turbo VQ35DE. It's actually twin turbo. eBay turbo specifically. 305 horsepower, a lot more torque than it had before. Pretty much nothing else has changed except for the styling and the stickers and the rims and yeah, those kind of things have changed. But other than that, I think this thing's ready to go. It's teenager ready, and I'm not ready for it. My goodness. Boy, have I got some excellent news for you. This version of my Infiniti, or I guess it's not really it's every modded Infiniti ever, isn't it? All the stereotypes wrapped into one, and my goodness, it actually drives pretty well. I think because I didn't try to make it too crazy. I mean, if I tried to go for like 500 horsepower or something, then it would probably be broken, but it drives just as well as the regular one that I made. In fact, I think it's pretty much about the same, which goes to show what happens when you put $2,000 worth of mods in, most of them being eBay turbos and a really crappy wing from eBay. You don't really get that much performance, and this exhaust is probably just from eBay too. This is just a total eBay build, isn't it? I mean, you can get up to 200k an hour pretty quickly, but the top speed of this car is 233, and that's what it is in automation as well that I've set it to, so yeah, we're not going to get much higher than that. However, I gotta say that like, it stops well, it handles well. This car overall is quite well balanced, but that's kind of just how the original Infiniti was that I made last week anyway, so yeah, it's just inherited those qualities and it's pretty much the same. That's really it. Even up into sport mode, which I'm assuming this person would be using all the time. Yeah, this is what we got. So, in the last video I made a joke about revving my engine in front of a retirement home, and unfortunately there isn't a retirement home in this map, otherwise that is exactly what I would be doing, because we need to tick off some of the other stereotypes, including having a straight piped car and constantly flooring it everywhere. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do, because it seems like that's what these people do all the time. I live next to a busier road now, and I hear this type of person constantly. It's incredibly annoying. And you know what, while we're here, we're on a mountain pass. We have our automatic Infiniti, we may as well go for a mountain run. I don't know, I'm just grasping at straws. Let's just drive this car and see how things go. This is definitely a shorter video, but yeah, I don't think it needs to be long. My point has been made. Well, we're gonna be cowering whenever we see a pothole in this thing because it's literally as low as it can go. I believe if it had double wishbone front and back, we could actually get it to the lowest possible that the game offers, but yeah, unfortunately not the case this time. Maybe next time though. You know, I'm kind of curious with this horsepower bump if this thing is actually quicker than the original version that I made or not, so I think we should do a couple tests on the drag strip and maybe a track or two just to see what that's like. But for now, I'm just going to be driving, just cruising. I don't know, I'm probably going to a public school right now. That's kind of what this kind of person would be doing, but I can't really say that because I've seen people like this in college too. Man, it's been a while since I was in college. I know I sound like a grandpa, but I'm turning 25 this year and I kind of feel like it. Alright, Infinity, back into this city. Probably gonna need to go to the nearest gas station to get premium fuel because unfortunately that's what these cars take. And because this car is turboed, it's probably puking out its guts. Not just ignore that tire damage, but it's probably puking out its guts right now out of a hole in the block because yeah, they don't really deal with much power too well from what I know. Like, I just refilled my car's oil today because I have to do that pretty much every second week now. That's just how it goes when you have one of these cars, and if you turbo it, you're going to be filling it every second day, not just week. People were asking me what I want to do with my car, and like, people were saying to put the Vader kit on it. That's just not going to happen. It's not worth it. Yeah, I don't even like the look of the Vader kit, to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of it. And I don't think it would be really that worth it. The kit by itself is $15,000, and then the amount of work that would go into making it, I just don't think it's worth it. You may as well just buy something fast. Don't start with something slow like that and then try and make it look cool. I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. I've realized that I just said Infinity G35s are slow, and the answer to that is actually no, they're not that slow. They're pretty reasonably fast for a sedan of that year, beating out BMW's cars, except for the M, obviously, but that was their competition, and they really killed it back in the early days of Infinity. These days they kind of suck, but don't take offense, Infinity Canada or something like that. I'll still reach out for a sponsorship eventually. No, they don't suck. They're just not quite as good as some of the competition, including Genesis. Personally, being an Infinity driver right now, being somebody who likes driving these kind of luxury cars but hates the expense of it, I'd probably just buy a Genesis and kind of just swallow that premium gas cost, but I think it'd be worth it. Obviously, I'm not made out of money, so that's not going to happen. I'm currently looking at buying a Fiesta. That's kind of what kind of person I am. At least at this point. It's weird, like, as I drive this around, it vaguely resembles my car, so it's a bit weird to see it in the third person. But then also I was thinking, and I have been thinking this week especially, like, every time I go to the gas pump, it hurts me a little bit on the inside, and I don't know, like, how did people stomach that? How do you daily drive like a big diesel truck or something like that and just eat that fuel cost? To me, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I'd much rather be spending that on buying a project car. So to drive a non-very economical daily, it's eating into my project car budget. It bothers me a lot, so I don't know. It's just those small things in life. I don't know. I mean, now that I have a house, it's like, man, stuff is expensive. Food is not cheap. But either way, like, I'm not doing badly. I just want to be able to save more. That's pretty much it. I don't know. I guess I can get into that discussion a little bit later on, but I'm not the kind of person who wants to work as long as they can. I'm more like, hey, when can I retire? And do the things that I actually want to do in life instead of work in construction. Okay, I guess that's enough messing around. Let's teleport to the drag strip and drag race this versus the other one and see how that goes. Alright, so I'm going to take the teen for a spin. The teen variation. It's more, I don't know, it's teenager, but it's also just like those kids that, that just seem to rice out every Infiniti G35 and ruin them all, and then you can't find a clean one. That's that type of person right here. But I figure we should go ahead and race against the other version of the car. The thing is moving forward right now, so oh dang. I was running out of time, but that's the curse of the automatics here. Okay, there's my opponent right there. It's a little bit weird to see this, but this should be a reasonable race. Just gotta stage myself, rev, and... Okay, so we do have 40 horsepower on this car, and I am gonna kick it up into sport mode, which might be cheating because it does have lower ratios. A little bit more torque, 40 more horsepower, and yeah, a very clear victory there. It was only by 0.5 seconds, but I mean, that is something. I guess we can try that again. Okay, this time, no sport mode, I'll just go in regular mode, and I will try and start exactly on time. Although I do have a history of messing that up, and again there I started late. So I'm just in drive, I'll just let it sit, and... Yeah, this car is clearly faster. Again, it makes sense, but it's really not that much faster, is it? Oh goodness, that was only 0.4 that time. Well, we have proven our dominance against a stock G35 on the drag strip, which basically means nothing, but I mean, what good is this car if we can't do some sick burnouts? Let's try and go over to the burnout pit and see if I can lay down some rubber without the ESC on. Might as well try, right? You know what, right over here seems like a pretty good burnout pit to me, so let's lay it down, turn off that ESC, shift up into S1, and donut, here we go. So I've been practicing a little bit this week using my wheel, but I've been kind of thinking that I need to get better at drifting and racing in general. In this game because of the showcase coming up, and I mean, this car kind of relates to the showcase too, doesn't it, being a teenager version. But I've got to adjust my setup a little bit, mostly because the chair that I currently have has wheels, and this wood floor that I'm on is obviously quite easy to roll on, so that means whenever I hit the brake I fly backwards, which is not great. So I'm just gonna end up using a kitchen chair or something, which is gonna be uncomfortable. But anyway, the sacrifices I make for a showcase, I'm making it sound like a hardship. This is something that's fun. It's a lot of fun. Well, after again proving dominance on the drag strip, it just seems like it's time to just cruise out here in the oblivious unknown. I don't know, I think that this car is just going to be faster overall, so maybe there's not much of a point in doing that. I might as well just talk about G35s now. So I have this idea for a video, and I am actually going to do it. It might not be next week, but maybe the week after. I'm hoping to be able to stream, not this Friday, but possibly next Friday. Oh, that's really busy there. But yeah, I want to try and start streaming on Fridays. I haven't been able to do that yet, but I will hopefully be able to do it soon. And then I'm hoping again to have an IRL video out in a couple of weeks on the top 5 things that I like, and then the top 5 things that I dislike about my car, and I just want to tell you about those things. It might be a bit of a guide on G35s a little bit, so you can watch out for certain things, and if you are somebody who's looking to buy one, then I guess it might be a bit of a preview. I've had my car for 3 years. I bought it in 2017, so yeah, 3 years this month actually, I think. So I do know some of the things that cause grief to Infiniti drivers, and I guess I can share some of those things with you now. So something that wouldn't necessarily be included in my video is that the windows tend to rust. In the middle between the 2 windows, you can see that spot right here. It tends to rust, and it's not easy to fix that because it's a big piece of clear coat and paint underneath. And I always see cars listed like Infinitis with rust in those spots. And my car is just beginning to do it, and it's bothering me a lot, but it's not an easy fix, so I'm kind of just helpless, as I'm guessing pretty much everybody else is that owns one of these cars. I haven't actually written down the ideas for this video yet, so I'm not sure if I'm treading over top of them at this point. We'll see, but maybe this is a bit of a spoiler, I guess. Not a literal spoiler. But one of the things that I really don't like... Oh goodness, I'm just doing a giant loop here, aren't I? Every single time I go this way. Okay, I'm gonna change it up. I mentioned it in the first video I did on my car, but the stereos in these cars tend to go bad, and they tend to just kind of periodically go bad. So it's not just one day it stops working, it's one day it stops working and you're like, okay. And then the next time you start the car, it's working again, and you're like, oh, okay, it's fine. And then slowly but surely it stops working more than it starts working, and that's when you start researching how to replace it. And my goodness, is it a pain to replace. Holy. I have done it a few times now because I had to go back into it to redo some of the wiring and replace one of the connectors that I had, one of the adapters. But my goodness, it is a pain and a half because you have to literally take the entire front of the car, interior wise, like the entire dashboard underneath apart to get at it. It's not like a Honda Civic where you can just take off the center console piece. It's really not that easy. And yeah, it's a pain in the butt, and unfortunately it kind of just has to happen with these cars. That Bose stereo, it bangs when it works, but my goodness, when it dies, that's it. You're in for some work and some money. The kit to replace it is, I think it was $300, something like that. It's not cheap, and then you also have to buy your stereo on top of that. I think at the end of the day, after I bought all of the adapters and everything to make the amplifier in the back work, because the car has a built-in sub, it probably cost me $750 to replace the stereo, and I did it myself. So if you get somebody else to do it, you're going to be paying a lot more. My car also didn't come with the satellite radio or the navigation, which is fine. It has the button for satellite, or at least it used to, until I took the radio out. But yeah, obviously it didn't have it. It doesn't exactly matter. Those options are really useless on a 2003 anyways. I mean, do you really want to be using an extremely outdated GPS? I definitely don't. Anyway, I guess that's just a couple of little bits for you. Little bits of Infiniti owner knowledge. I don't know, this is just stuff that I have experience with. I mean, these cars drink oil, they have a whole bunch of other issues, and I'll bring that up in that video, but for now, I guess that's, well, yeah, no, that's it for our front bumper on that curb. One of the good brands for Infiniti stuff is Stillen. Obviously, this is not an advertisement, but I'm hoping to be able to get some Stillen exhaust eventually for this car, well, for my car. But that's pretty much it for my car. Like, I don't really want to do anything else. My old Subaru, my old Impreza, I'll show you a picture of that car eventually, but I did have a muffler on it, and it was a muffler that was way too big for it, and the thing was so darn loud that I was going deaf driving it to college, almost at high school, but no, this was college. I was almost going deaf driving it to college, and so I was like, oh man, I'm never doing this again. And so yeah, that's why I'm not going to take the cheap route again. You gotta get the full system, or get it actually made for your car properly. Don't just hack it off and weld something back on there. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this little bit of a shorter video. A lot of G35 driving and insight here. I really like driving this car. I don't know why. This one is fine, but the original one that I made last week is actually quite a bit better. The only perk about this one is it's so loud. I can actually hear the engine noise, which is nice. But yeah, if you like this content, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. Look forward to more Infiniti content in the future. Infiniti Gauntlet content. Ooh, okay, I was hoping that didn't have collision. Oh darn, come on now, up the off-ramp. Let's do it. Or not. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. More Infiniti crashing to come. Hopefully not though, hopefully not me, just in Beam. Let's keep it in Beam, my goodness. Well, you know who you are, but it's time to thank you anyways. Guys, I appreciate you all. Overlord, That Rice to Explore, QT Bear, Terry Williams, The Most Random Person, Sick D Cars and Stuff, Boris Ramirez, Jacob, Jug, Fox, and yeah, that's it for those. But all the other supporters as well. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all. It's gonna be good coming up in the future here. Hopefully this month I can get out at least one more IRL content video for you. And then what I was talking about before about transitioning to sandbox stuff, that is still happening. It's just slower than I'd like because I haven't had enough time to like sit down and really learn any games yet. Still setting up my house, still getting everything organized, still haven't paid some of my bills, gotta wait for them to come in the mail, but I'm worried about that. You know how it is. Anyway. Or maybe you don't, I don't know. Oh man, I don't know anything anymore. See you guys again next week.